you lecture again to make you sleepy. In the first half of our gathering meeting, let's say, we was focusing about our team, Brompton Cross team, how valuable they are to us, how important to us, and how much we love them, how much I love them, and I'm sure how much they love us as well. Except Mohsen is still eating, doesn't care. As usual, okay. I did stop the guys to go because I say 2 minutes. What I would like to talk before Kaz come to the stage, I would like to talk about our relationship now with the external parts. I'm not going to call Moulage, I'm not going to call JHR, I'm not going to call Emirates as external part. I need to talk about our subcontractor, our relationship with the subcontractor. The latest subcontractor joined us. It's a different basement company, which is big name, but it's good for them to know how we build the relationship with our subcontractor. Our relationship and how we dealing with the subcontractor, it is the way we strengthen ourselves. If we don't have strong people working with us, I can depend on them. I can't grow up. Therefore, our relationship with this who supporting us, as we said before, the design team, the admin team, the health and safety, all the people in the office supporting the site, but also all the people joined us, which is welcome, guys. It is very important to supporting us and to support the project, because who is the boss?
Project.
Sorry?
Project.
Good. That's good. Therefore, I want to talk about I would like to thank the people who's been with us. Our majority of our subcontractor, they are really part of us. They grow up with us. We are dependent on them. Here I need to talk about very, very, very important point is how the new system working. I'm not going to give names. I would say we have X person used to work with us, now he has his company, and we have a tendering, and we have the tendering going out, and the price is coming back. The good things that we are fair. For me, on the personal level, not on the business level, because I can't mix personal and business at the same time. On the personal level, still I would like to see the same faces, who's work really hard in the past. They are growing up and they want them to grow up and more and more and more. The things which is, first of all, I want to say, inshallah, there is a potential, and there is a space, and there is opportunity, and there is enough work for the existing one and the new one. So this is something, fact, I would like to have it in your mind. I know you have a meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
The another things which is also I would like to say, I would like to be fair with the new experience and the new people coming to join us, because we need to be fair when I'm tendering to someone and sending the tender for 3-4 companies, and this is what we learned from HSBC, shop around. You have to shop around. You need to find competition. When I'm tendering for another company, new company, and they're sending the tender the first time, second time, third time, they are not going to send us tender because they will say, yeah, they have their team, they will work with them. But when I'm seeing that a people give me price, time, commitment, everything, I can't interfere in this stage anymore, which is I don't want. I say, personal level, I love you, all of you from my heart. Business level, it is the project. This is something I would like to clear it very, very clear with you guys. I would like you to work all the time, keep you busy. We have enough work for all of us and for you, because if we always depend on one source, we will never develop ourselves. We will never go into another side. If always I'm wearing jeans, I will never know there is another fabric in the market, because it's jeans only. But when I have going to different shops, I will see different fabric. I will produce a better product and better project to our client. Are you happy with that? Believe me, half of the people here in this room, they say, yeah. Quarter of these people, they say, no, he's not talking from his heart. He will still liaise the work somehow to us. The fact which is I would like to say it today, there is a system, there is a procedure, there is a way, there is a lot of time. It's not me or Glenn or Matthew or person. There is a system. It is fair. That's the first one. Fair with everyone. It needs to be followed, and we are going to follow it, and we will continue following to growing up the company in also your benefit, and I will keep you, we will keep you always busy, inshallah. Kas. Is it you?
Hello everyone, thanks for being here. My name is Qasim, or maybe most of you know me as Kas. I'm in charge of health and safety, and it's not the right time really to talk about health and safety, especially health after dinner, but it's all right, just the boss decided the time when.
Nice one.
Okay, first of all, before I talk about health and safety, which is the main subject why I'm here today, I just want to mention maintenance. Whoever was with us in our last meeting, I was proudly given the chance to be in charge of health and safety and maintenance, which is both of them are like big departments in the company. And I said I can do it. I can lift both departments up. But unfortunately, I couldn't, to the level that they needed to be, to the level that our company is growing. I couldn't manage both departments. So I stepped down and just decided to be on health and safety, and hopefully we'll find someone else to run the maintenance department. I mean, it's really sad for me to step down, because most of the people who I work with, the maintenance department, are the people who built the company. Without them, the company would never reach this level, because they built the company, of course, alongside with Angie and Ali Malik and the people who started this company. So thank you very much, first of all. Okay, when we talk about health and safety, so successful companies are safe companies, and this is our policy now. We are introducing health and safety into every section into our work. So from the moment we start the job, we are focusing on health and safety. The moment we're running the job, focusing on health and safety. People's safety and anyone's safety, the customer's safety, are our priority in the company. So that's how you judge a company and how you tell if the company is successful or not. As Muhammad mentioned earlier, so what was next? Sorry. This way? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have been working the past few months toward this CHAS. I don't know if you know it or not. It's accreditation that's given to companies when they reach a certain level of health and safety. For most of you, this doesn't mean much, it's just accreditation. But believe me, it does take a lot of work to achieve this accreditation. It needs cooperation with all departments of the company. And we did work hard to get this accreditation of CHAS. I would like to thank Gregory Staniak for his help, really. He did support with a lot of documentation over the years. And we are working on to get the accreditation of Safe Contractor, which is a company similar to CHAS. They do ask a bit of different documentations and stuff like in health and safety, but we are working on it as well. As you all know, with considerate constructors, we are part of them, and as Mohammed said, most of our big projects are part of this, who they do come and they do auditings to all sites, and we have to be in a certain level for them to accept us to be part of them. Now I'm just talking quickly about the RBS Mentor Service and the British Safety Council. Both of these organizations, they do offer us help and e-learning, and it's the e-learning that I'm focusing on now. Every one of our team will be given a username and a password, especially for now with the RBS, to do some courses online. Each course wouldn't take more than an hour. And for example, the courses are in working at height, asbestos awareness, things like this that people have to have. It's not an option, it's people for your safety and for the company's safety. If you do care about the company, you need to do them courses. And this will help everyone, it will help improving our work and the quality of our work. To join what Mohammed wants us to get is the ISO 45001, which is in health and safety. And we're aiming to get this by the last quarter of 2018, hopefully. But it needs everyone's support and everyone's help, especially the subcontractors, the one that Mohammed was talking about, the one that built the company with us. We want you with us. We want you to carry on with us, but we need to work safely. If you need any help or any support, producing documents or consultation or anything, just let us know, and we're here to help you. We don't deal with you, as Mohammed said, you're not just like any other subcontractors. You're the one that helped us to build this company. So we want to help you as well, growing up like we grown up. So safety in this safety is everyone's responsibility in this company now. So we need you all to think safe and act safe so we all can be safe. Thank you very much.
Did anyone realize what chocolate you have on your table? These people who has a dirty mind, I don't care about you. The people though thinking in the safety, they know this is heart. It is a hat. So this is why we talk about health and safety. I would like to thank you guys. I want to add one more thing for what Kaz said, especially when we're talking about military. In our strategy, we need to improve the quality, and we need to improve everything. What I learned today, I hope that you enjoyed the HSBC when we're talking about how we can save, how we can reduce the increase the money in the pocket. What I learned from that, it is how I manage my life. Very simple. You want to control your financial, you need to manage it. This is the same strategy we are following. So for you guys to manage without spending money, this is what we are offering now in the future. There's a lot of facility. I will promise I'm going to do. A lot of facility, a lot of benefit for all of you guys. So one of them, it is free education. Have a free course. Why not? It's cost you 1 hour of your time, but you have a certificate. You have knowledge. You add something to your CV. I don't want anyone to leave the company, to be honest, but I would like, if someone for some reason change city or going somewhere else, he has a CV, something's been added and get benefit of working with the Brompton Cross. As I'm talking about benefit and what we are, a few seconds ago I say, I promise you I will create benefit for all of you. One of this benefit, it is the pension. So please welcome Mark from Smart Pension.
Thank you very much. While we're getting set up, I'd like to start by apologising for our outrageously and unnecessarily large banner that we brought with us. But as I'm sure in your industry, as in ours, size does matter. How are we doing? Good stuff. So I'd also like to say thank you very much to Brompton Cross for getting us down today. It is actually an employer's duty to educate their staff on auto-enrolment, but I very, very rarely see an employer go to this level. I'm inviting us down to speak to you today and educate you around auto-enrolment is going over and above 99.9% of what other employers do, and I salute you, Brompton Cross. So I'm just going to see if I can work this. Oh, no, hang on. It's meant to go in the other direction. Wait. Okay, so before I start, I've got to say, my name's Matt Castle, and I am the Business Development Director at Smart Pension. I've been with the company for around 2 years now. But in my spare time, I'm also a stand-up comedian. And for 2 years, I have tried to make auto-enrolment funny. And I have failed dismally. So if during this presentation anyone can think of anything funny to say about auto-enrolment, please come and see me at the end of the presentation. I will happily buy any jokes off you. It's also quite refreshing for me to be presenting to a team of employees, because usually I present to advisors, like accountants and IFAs. And at the moment I've not got the greatest relationship with my accountant, because I went to see him just recently and he basically had a go at me. He said, Matt, for someone that works in finance, you are the worst at saving. You spend too much money, you don't save enough. So I went back to my partner and I said, Emma, we need to start saving more money. The accountants basically had a go at me. So if you maybe learn to be a bit better around the house, you learn to cook, you learn to clean, we could maybe fire the maid and save some money there. And she said, yes, if you learn to be better in the bedroom, we could fire the gardener. I'm here all week. So moving swiftly on, pensions. So you may have heard this term, the pensions time bomb. It's been used by the media since pre-2000, and it basically refers to the fact that the thing isn't working. 1 second, I might have to refer to this. No, nothing's working. You know you want it. Seems to have stopped. Hey, that'll be fun.
Turn it off and turn it back
Ah,
on.
that'll be trick.
Restart.
Oh, here we go. No, how are you doing that? With that? Oh, no, yeah. Aha, we've got it. Okay, it basically refers to the fact that we are all living longer. It's working, thank you. So it basically refers to the fact that we're all living longer. Since 1980, the life expectancy in the UK has increased by a decade. And a 21-year-old today is twice as likely to make it to 100 years old as his parents, and 3 times as likely as his grandparents. At the same time, currently there are 4 people of working age for every pensioner, but by 2050, there's only going to be 2, and that is not sustainable from an economic point of view. Add to that the fact that only 1 in 3 people in the private sector actually have sorted out a pension scheme. Because of all the above, the Department of Work and Pension estimates that 11 million people are not saving enough and face inadequate income in retirement. Basically, they're going to be poor. So, just recently, the former pensions minister, Steve Webb, or Sir Steve Webb, I should say, released a bit of research that said to have a comfortable retirement, you would need to pay an 8% contribution into a work-based pension scheme from age 22 to age 77 and not take any time out to have a family. So the pensions time bomb is a serious issue, and it's not just in the UK. All of the countries around the world are suffering from the pensions time bomb, and it's worried successive governments around the world, and especially in the UK. But it's particularly bad in the UK because we are not a saving culture. So traditionally, we don't think long term. And I'm going to prove that with a little game that I'm going to play, and there is a prize at the end of this. So if you could all just stand up for me, please. Everybody, don't be shy, stand up. Okay, so now you're all standing. Could you remain standing if you have put aside some money for retirement? Oh, no one sat down, that's good. Okay, so remain standing if you have a pension set up already. Oh, we're losing some of you, we're losing some of you. Okay, so can you still remain standing if you have set up life cover? Oh, a few more. Okay, you've gone back. You can't get back up. Okay, so of those still standing, please remain standing if you have critical illness cover. Oh, losing a few. You're doing well though. Okay, so please remain standing if you have income protection set up. Oh, lost another couple. You're doing well though. And lastly, please remain standing if you have a will. Well done. Give those people a round of applause. I've just done that in the last month. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I keep standing because I don't understand what you're talking about.
You can sit down now. I did that to a bunch of accountants in 2 different events over the last month, and by the time we got to the end, they were all sitting down and they're accounting. So you did really, really well. You win a fantastic Brompton Cross pen, by the way. Well done. Congratulations. So, yeah, it has been a worry for successive governments, and the successive governments have tried different initiatives to deal with the pensions time bomb. Unfortunately, they've all been a failure because they've all been voluntary. But the latest and greatest of those, auto-enrolment, is a very different kettle of fish because it is not a voluntary system. It's basically the biggest shake-up in work-based pensions for the last 60 years. And it affects around 1.8 million employers and 23 million people. But it may just get a lot bigger because there's a review of work-based pensions and auto-enrolment at the moment by the government, and they are considering including people with multiple low-income roles and the self-employed in auto-enrolment, which would put another 12 million people through auto-enrolment, so it is a big deal. And since 2012, over 7 million people have been auto-enrolled. It started with the big boys first, so any company with 120,000 employees or more, and went down and down and down. Now it stands at any company with 30 employees or less. But the UK is a country of SMEs. So in 2017, there are 800,000 companies staging, and from 2017 to April 2018, there's 1 million. So it's a big deal. So why should I care? Why should I, as an employee, and why should I, as an employer, care about auto-enrolment? The reason I put a basket of kittens there is because usually when I start talking about it, it's so boring, people close their eyes and start thinking about a basket of kittens and humming. So you should care because if you're an employer, the responsibility is on you. The legal responsibility. So even if you use an accountant or an IFA, the responsibility is on you. And as an employee, it is a benefit, and a big benefit to you. And we'll look at what the benefits are to you in further slides. It's also mandatory to enrol eligible workers. And by that, I mean if you fall into the eligible worker category, your employer has to auto-enrol you. And then it's your role, if you don't want to be in the auto-enrolment scheme, to opt out. But scarily, 2/3 of SMEs don't even know when their staging date is, don't even know when they're meant to auto-enrol. And that is a big thing because there are some very hefty fines from the pensions regulator and potentially even 2 years in prison if you fail to meet your auto-enrolment requirements. So who does it apply to? So there's 3 basic categories. The first is eligible job holders. So that is quite a broad category. It's anyone from age 22 to state pension age who earns more than £10,000. In that category, the employer has to legally auto-enrol you, and then it's their role, if they don't want to be in the scheme, to opt out. Then, that wasn't going to happen either. Then there are 2 categories of non-eligible job holder. So the first one is anyone between the ages of 16 and 22, or between state pension age and 75, who earn over £10,000. And then the other one is anyone between the ages of 16 and 75, who earn between £5,824 and £10,000. Those 2 categories don't get automatically enrolled, but they can request to join the scheme. And if they do, the employer has to put them in and has to pay contributions towards them. And then the last category is anyone that earns less than £5,824. And they can join the scheme, but the employer doesn't have to pay anything towards them. So I'm an employer, help, what do I have to do to get auto-enrolment up and running? You guys are already there, but an employer actually has 33 legal requirements around auto-enrolment. Some of those will be before the staging date in setup and preparation. Some of those will be on or around the staging date, but a lot of those will also be ongoing. So every time you run your payroll as an employer, you have to go through the auto-enrolment process, you have to assess all of your staff, and you have to make the relevant contributions and send out the relevant communications. So the employer has 33 legal duties. I'm not going to list them all, I'm just going to list some of the key ones. So they have to provide employees with information on auto-enrolment. As I said, these guys are going over and above what the normal employer would do to educate their staff by bringing us in today. They have to automatically enrol eligible workers, as I've already said. They have to put non-eligible workers who want to opt in into the scheme. They have to manage all opt-outs. So if you don't want to be in the scheme and you want to opt out, it's your employer's job to do that. They have to submit a declaration of compliance to the pensions regulator, automatically re-enrol every eligible worker every 3 years in a re-enrolment process. And there are a number, and keep records for 6 years. But there are a number of things they also can't do, and that is they can't induce any opt-outs. So they can't encourage their staff to opt out of auto-enrolment, and they can't operate any discriminatory recruitment processes that discourage anyone that wants to auto-enrol. So what's the real cost of auto-enrolment? The reason I put a pelican there is because I know what it's like being a business owner, and I know what it's like being an employee and small to medium business. It's a bit like being a pelican. Everywhere you look, there's a giant bill in front of you. So you have to watch your pennies. So the first and most obvious cost is the work-based contributions. So we're going to talk about what the contributions will be for you and for the employer in a moment. The next is pension provider setup costs and ongoing fees. We're also going to look at that as well. Then there's auto-enrolment payroll software, bolt-ons, that your payroll software would need to do to process auto-enrolment. And then there's the cost in additional man hours if you pick the wrong auto-enrolment provider, because some systems out there are very clunky, very slow, and actually quite complicated and hard to understand. And then there's a cost in failing to meet your statutory auto-enrolment requirements. That's basically fines from the pensions regulator. So if we look at the contributions to start with, so up to April 2018, the contributions work like this. The employer's contribution is 1%, the employee's contribution is 0.8%, and the government top-up is 0.2%. Then, from then to April 2019, the employer's contribution is 2%, the employee's contribution is 2.4%, and the government top-up is 0.6%. And then from April 2019 onward, the employer contribution is 3%, the employee contribution is 4%, and the government top-up is 1%. So what are pension provider additional costs? So what do I mean by additional costs? Every pension provider on the market will charge you, the members, something called an AMC, an annual management charge. Now in auto-enrolment it's capped, so it's not very high, and that is basically to pay for the running of the scheme, the people, the administration and the technology. However, back in 2012, when auto-enrolment started, pretty much all the providers on the market were free to the employer and also free to the members. There were no additional costs. If you fast forward to 2016, 2017, pretty much all of them, apart from a few exceptions, charge the employer to have an auto-enrolment scheme an additional cost, and also charge, in some cases, the members an additional monthly cost. So we're going to look at some of the additional costs from some of the key providers on the market there that I've listed. So ones like the People's Pension and other providers out there will maybe charge a set-up fee. So the People's Pension, for instance, charge a £500 set-up fee for a company. Others, like Now Pension and Creative, will charge the company a monthly management fee and will charge the members, i.e. you, the employees, an additional fee per month. So with Now Pension, it's £36 per month plus VAT for the employer, and £1.50 extra charge per month for the employee. With Creative, it's £20 per month for the employer plus VAT, and £2 per month additional for the member. With non-master trusts, with the insurance-based schemes like Standard Life, they are extremely expensive. So they have a very high set-up fee, and they also have a very high monthly management fee. Smart Pension at the bottom there, we actually don't have any set-up fee, any monthly charge, any management fee. The only fee we have is our annual management charge to the members, which is very small, it's 0.75%. And that's annually, so it works out about 0.006% per month of your contributions. So the other one on the market, apart from us, that is free to the employer, is the government scheme Nest. You've probably all heard of it. Nest is free in inverted commas, in that Nest do not automate any of the processes involved. They are purely a provider, they're not an end-to-end solution like we are. So they're a big admin burden for the company. They're also nearly 3 times as expensive as Smart Pension for you, the member. I actually did a competitive analysis between us and Nest just recently, and we found 28 ways that Smart Pension trumped Nest, but those are the 2 key ones for you and for your employer. So, what are the type of fines that are out there if your auto-enrolment processes are not met properly? So, there's a potential fixed penalty fine of £400, which is an on-the-spot fine. And then there's an escalating penalty notice, which is a more serious one, and that's a daily fine, a daily rate, and that can be anything from £50 to £10,000. And then there's the one I always get wrong because it's really long, prohibited recruitment conduct penalty notice. It's the first time I got it right. And that can be anything from £1,000 to £5,000. And then there's a civil penalty, which is a failure to pay contributions. And that can be anything up to £50,000. So there's some potentially very big fines out there. Incidents and penalty notices are on the rise. And the number issued in the end of 2016 was 15 times more than had ever been issued before. There have been a number of high-profile cases in the media, so does anybody support Swindon Football Club? No supporters. That's good because they just got fined £23,000, basically £2,500 a day. And the pensions regulator has made it easy for employees to let them know if their employer is not meeting their auto-enrolment requirements. And despite the potential threat, though, a vast majority of companies have got their head in the sand about auto-enrolment. So the Federation for Small Business did a research project on its membership, 220,000 membership, and asked them what the 10 things were they were most worried about in 2017 and what they were going to focus on. And auto-enrolment didn't even make it into the top 10. So SMEs have really got their head in the sand about auto-enrolment. And again, I salute Brompton Cross for being so innovative and getting us in today to make sure that they meet their requirements and that you know what auto-enrolment really is. So how do you choose a quality scheme and how do you know that we are a quality scheme? Well, the pensions regulator themselves actually released a series of questions that you should ask yourself when you're choosing a scheme to make sure that you choose the scheme that matches you the best. At the end of 2016, De Facto, which is a really well-known third-party assessor of financial products, also produced a report on auto-enrolment which made almost exactly the same suggestions as the pensions regulator. So if I go through these, is it a quality scheme? So basically, does it have all the top kite marks? Is it well governed? Is it well looked after? Is it well administered? Is it well backed? Is it easy to use? You do not want a complicated system. You want it easy to use for the members, easy to use for the employer, jargon-free and quick. Does it provide value for money? Is it affordable? Has it got any of those charges involved that we've just been talking about, or is it a free system? Does it have a good investment option for the members? So you, as members, will the investment option work for you, and do they perform well? Who's your pension provider? Again, is it well managed? Again, is it well administered? And has it got good people providing it? And does it take care of all the most laborious parts of the process? So does it do all the assessment, all the calculations, all the communications for the employer and therefore for you, the employees? What support and information is offered for the members? So does it give lots of free resources that you can use to calculate your pension, to work out what you're going to do with your money, to educate you on auto-enrolment? Does it have a video library? Does it have a knowledge bank? And is it compatible with payroll software to make everybody's life easier and to make sure there are no errors so you get paid, basically? So what you want to look for from a quality scheme is to make sure you have the right kite marks on the scheme. So these are the three main kite marks in the industry that everybody looks for. The top one, the Master Trust Assurance Framework, was actually developed by the pensions regulator themselves in conjunction with a big accountancy organisation. And it is classed as the gold standard for auto-enrolment. It is extremely hard to get. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, it's very expensive, and it takes a long time. So any provider that has the Master Trust Assurance Framework, you know is in it for the long game. There are about 100 Master Trusts out there. There's only about 10 that have got the Master Trust Assurance Framework. Then there's De Facto, we just mentioned them. They're a very well-known and respected organisation, been around for 25 years, and they give a star rating on how robust and comprehensive a product is. What you want to look for is a 5-star rating. And then there's the Pensions Quality Mark. That's a lesser accreditation, but that makes sure that the scheme is also a quality scheme. Just so you know, we are one of the few on the market that actually has both the De Facto 5-star rating and the Master Trust Assurance Framework, and we're actually the only end-to-end solution on the market that has both of those. So just a little bit about us and how we work. When our founders looked at the auto-enrolment landscape back in the early years, they realised that most of the people on the market were doing it wrong, in that they were relying on very resource-heavy ways of processing people and companies, and they were also using cobbled together IT that wasn't designed specifically for the purpose. So they spent 2 years building and designing the only technology platform that was specifically designed for auto-enrolment. It was worth it because it meant that it's really, really easy to use. I've got a 14-year-old nephew, I own 2 companies, and I got him to do my auto-enrolment for me. And one took him 5 minutes and the other one took him 3. So it was a really simple system to understand. It's got a high level of automation, so it does a lot of the work for you and takes a lot of the headache off your table. and it integrates well with other softwares, especially payroll software that makes everybody's life easy. While we had those 2 years of building the site, we decided we'd learn from what other providers were doing. We'd watch the market and we'd see what providers were doing well, and we'd copy it, and we'd see what they weren't doing so well, and we'd make sure we'd avoid the pitfalls. So one of the things that we noticed that providers were getting a lot of complaints about was their customer service. If you get in touch with our customer service, the phone gets picked up every single time, and you get a fantastic service from us. We also wanted to be market responsive, so in those 2 years we went out and did loads of market research. We asked loads of advisors and also loads of businesses what you want from an auto-enrolment scheme, and they all came back with the same things. They said, oh, we want it to be fast, i.e. we want it to sit down in one sitting and get it done really easily, jargon-free, simple. We want it to be secure, we want to make sure you're around in a few years' time, we want it to be free. So if you notice, our strapline is actually fast, secure and free. So we took that feedback and we turned that into our business plan. So fast, we've got a cutting edge, high-tech platform that's a one-stop shop, end-to-end solution, so you can sit down and get everything sorted in about 3 minutes. It's the fastest and easiest to use system on the market, and that's not just me saying that. There was an independent piece of research done by a research company that works primarily with the government, and it compared us to the government scheme and lots of other major schemes, and we came head and shoulders above the rest for ease of use, speed of use, user journey. It's a fully automated service, and because of all of the above, we're the only company really looking forward to the next 2 years. We're secure, we're a master trust, we've got all the right accreditation. As I said, we're the only ones with the master trust assurance framework and a de facto 5-star that is an end-to-end solution. We're FCA regulated with our fund managers and with our administrators, but our big news is we partnered with Legal & General at the beginning of last year. We said we wanted to partner with a big asset management company, and 4 FTSE 100 companies came out of the mist to fight over us. So that is a great testimonial that we're doing something right in the market. We are free. So we are the only one on the market that is free with both a Master Trust Assurance Framework, the de facto 5-star and an end-to-end solution. And we're a really good deal to the members. So you're the members, this is of interest to you. In the first year, if you look at all of our competition, if you look at creative auto-enrolment, what would be taken out of your pot would be nearly £25. If you look at now pensions, it would be nearly £19. If you look at Nest, it would be £8.34. If you look at us, it would be £1.61. So a very small contribution. We have 4 investment pots. So if you feel like a bit of a gambler, you can just leave the pots to do their thing, and they're on a default system that is based on your age. You'll be put in a different pot depending on what your age is. If you want to, you can go onto our system if you've got a different risk appetite, and you can decide what pot your investment goes into. So you can actually play with your investment yourself. And we've got a host of free resources that you could use to make life easy for you. So we've got a staging date calculator, we've got loads and loads of videos that will educate you on auto-enrolment. We've got an auto-enrolment planner, a pensions calculator, we've got a knowledge bank that will answer any question you have. And we also partner with other advisors. So if there are any advisors in the room that want to talk to us, please come and talk to us. And we have a referral program. So if you hit Talk to Anyone and they're talking about auto-enrolment and you refer them to us, we will give you various different bonuses, anything from a £50 Amazon gift card to a £50 donation to charity to a £50 iTunes code.
So there is no up to, it's all of them 50.
Yes, they are always 50 now. They never used to be. We've upped that because some of them used to be 10, some of them used to be 30. I didn't notice that. Well spotted. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you very much for listening.
Still, before you leave the stage, there's one thing this one. Also smart pension, which is this important for a lot of people with us, it is comply with the Sharia. So this is something I think we forgot to highlight here. That's one of the